faithfully sharing value, interpreting great books from around the world. Hello, this is Sally's Book Talk. Today, the book we're interpreting for you is Sharing Nature with Children. Each of us is a part of nature, and nature touches each of us in its unique way. In this era, confined by skyscrapers and surrounded by electronic devices, learning to embrace nature and discover its beauty is incredibly precious. So, how can we help children deeply appreciate the beauty of nature? The author of this book, Joseph Cornell, believes that playing in nature is the best way. Joseph Cornell, as the world's most renowned natural educator, has been involved in nature education since the 1970s. Through years of research, he discovered the immense charm of nature games for children. And in this book, he pours his keen insight and love for nature into outdoor educational activities, bringing children into the wonders of nature through games and sharing the joys of nature with them. Today, this book has been translated into 15 languages, sold nearly 1 million copies, and is hailed as the Bible of nature education. And some might ask, do we need to teach how to play? Didn't we play since childhood? You might think of your own childhood when you often played on hillsides and by rivers, playing hide and seek with friends in the dark, and we had a blast back then. But our children, they're already used to playing in indoor playgrounds or sitting idly on the sofa with phones and game consoles, playing video games by themselves. And children are getting farther away from nature. Psychologists call this nature deficit disorder, and children away from nature may struggle to grow healthily. For example, many urban children hardly know where food comes from and find it hard to understand the importance of environmental protection. Accompanying this are childhood obesity and more psychological disorders in children. Therefore, to help children grow healthier, parents and teachers have the responsibility to guide children on how to play. Some parents and teachers might be scratching their heads. Having stayed in the city too long, besides taking children to enjoy natural scenery, we don't know how to play anymore. Don't worry. This book uses experiential game methods to teach children to play happily in nature and build a wonderful bond of harmonious coexistence with nature. Before immersing with children in nature, we first need to understand the 5 principles of outdoor activities. The first is less lecturing, more sharing. Although we need to tell children basic facts about nature, what's more valuable is to let them observe and experience, then talk about and share their own feelings. Second, listening means to listen to and accept the children's needs during play, understand their feelings, and help them integrate into outdoor activities as soon as possible. Third, focus the children's attention as quickly as possible. This requires us to create a game-friendly atmosphere at the fastest speed. Fourth, make learning fun through play. Whether it's an exhilarating game or a quiet experience, joy is an indispensable element. Parents and teachers should inspire children with their own enthusiasm. Fifth, pay attention to safety. This applies to all outdoor activities. The most important point in design and implementation is to organize children's activities under the premise of ensuring safety. The author introduces 8 types of activities in the book. I've categorized them into 3 major groups for explanation. First is sensory experience activities, which require fully engaging children's own senses to observe nature. Second is role-playing activities, where children need to play various roles in nature. Third is territory activities, where the task is to find a small piece of one's own world and share it with friends. Next, I'll introduce each of these 3 types of activities one by one and pick some representative small games to share with you. All right, without further ado, let's introduce the first type of activity. Sensory experience activities require children to fully engage their visual, auditory, olfactory, and tactile senses to observe all subtle changes in nature, such as observing the colors of leaves, listening to the songs of birds, smelling the fragrance of flowers, touching the textures of the earth, allowing our delicate senses to resonate with certain features of nature, achieving a fusion of self and natural life. Here, I'll specifically introduce four very characteristic small games. One representative game is called Earth's Window, suitable for children over 7 years old. This game mainly cultivates children's patience and visual observation skills, helping them learn to observe in a quiet atmosphere and experience all subtle changes in nature. The Earth's Window game is super easy to set up. Parents can lie down with their kids in the grass or under a big tree. Adults guide children to look up at the sky and ask them questions about the color of the sky, observe cloud shapes, and have kids close their eyes, imagining merging with the earth. We can cover ourselves and kids with nearby branches and grass, leaving only faces exposed, letting them experience life and Earth's texture. But don't make it too long. Lying under leaves for extended time may make kids restless or bored. So we can tell children beforehand. When we say open your eyes, the game ends. Gradually, you'll find children happily covering themselves with soil and leaves. Another game called Blind Trail for kids over 7. Blindfolded children follow rope guidance through woods, listening to sounds, smelling scents, seeking textures. This game trains children's integrated use of hearing, smell, and touch, enhancing environmental awareness. A good blind trail requires setup time, but spontaneous ones have value too. The author suggests an ideal trail, crossing mossy logs along shaded paths, sunlit clearings with buzzing bees, then crawling under conifers feeling dry pine needles crackle. Let's see how Xiaoming's family plays this in real life. Before starting, Xiaoming's dad chose a winding park path, checking for toxic plants and hazards. Mom pre-identified flowers and trees with the child, teaching identification. After Dad set the rope, Xiaoming began. Holding the rope, eyes closed, he moved forward, curiously and carefully. Wow, the moss feels so soft underfoot. Dad, am I under tree shade? It's cool and shady here, Mom. Stamens! This must be a beautiful flower. I hear bees buzzing. It's so wonderful. I love crawling around on the sunlit grass. Finally, Xiaoming reached the path's end. He eagerly returned to check if his guesses about those fascinating spots were correct. All right, did you remember the blind trail game? Let's discuss the next game called Camouflaged Fawn, suitable for children over 5. This game helps children understand protective coloration and adaptation concepts while enhancing visual skills and observation abilities. When designing, find a 20 to 30 meter path with clear ground visibility, no weeds or shrubs blocking, and width for 2 people. Place about 20 everyday items as props, some contrasting colored bulbs or balloons, others blending with surroundings. The blended items become hard to spot, increasing game fun. Camping mirrors, camouflage, and gloves are highly recommended. Only allow one child on the path at a time to find all items possible. To reduce difficulty, place markers like red handkerchiefs near hard-to-find objects. Finally, discuss protective coloration's role in nature with children. For sensory experiences, the last game I recommend is Copy Nature, suitable for kids over 5. This game sparks children's interest in rocks, plants, and animals. Through this game, children's attention and memory significantly improve. Before gathering, children quietly collect 10 common natural items nearby: stones, seeds, pine cones, or animal evidence like bird feathers. Place these on a handkerchief, cover with another, gather kids, and tell them, find these 10 items around us. I'll uncover them for 25 seconds. Look carefully, memorize each item, After viewing, have kids search separately and call them back in 5 minutes. Take one item out of the handkerchief each time. See if the kids found the same thing and have them share something related to it. Through these sensory experience activities, we enhance children's visual observation, auditory discrimination, olfactory analysis, tactile perception, and multisensory integration. It also cultivates children's imagination while improving their memory and perseverance during activities. All right, remember the four sensory games I recommended: Earth's Window, Blind Trail, Camouflaged Fawn, and Copy Nature. Next time you play outdoors with kids, try them. You'll have a whole new experience. Now, let's move to the second type of activity: role playing activities. Children are always full of imagination and enthusiasm. Kids get especially excited about role playing. In nature, playing animals helps them understand animal traits while learning about natural systems and ecology. These games create exciting atmospheres that spark children's curiosity. I'll now introduce three highly practical games. First is Predator and Prey, suitable for kids over 5. This game teaches food chain concepts and their role in nature. Before playing, briefly explain terms like carnivore, herbivore, and food chain. In an open area, have kids form a 3-meter circle, blindfold 2 inside, one as predator, one as prey. The predator hunts using sound, the prey escapes using hearing. Add variety, increase animal types, or attach bells to some for location cues. The second recommended game is Who Am I for children over 6. Through this game, kids learn animal characteristics while developing judgment and imagination. At the beginning, we can find pictures of common animals and stick one on a child's back. Remember, don't let them see the picture. Then let the child walk around so others can see the animal on their back. Then that child asks questions based on others' reactions to guess the animal. Um, Others can only answer yes or no. Through this Q&A, the child quickly learns animal features. Alternatively, let one child know the animal and act it out for others to guess. The third fun game is Catching the Horse, suitable for kids over 5. It's a joyful game cultivating quick reflexes, letting kids enjoy the thrill of chasing. Let's see how Jack and his friends play this in real life. Jack often plays this in the manor's grassy fields. It requires an agile, enduring child as the horse. Jack loves being the catcher. This time his brother was chosen as the horse. Jack's brother said, "Everyone close your eyes, I'm hiding now." 3 minutes later, Jack's brother hid and called, "Come find me!" After opening his eyes, Catcher Jack followed his brother's voice eastward. He imitated galloping and neighing while rushing toward the grass. "Ah, brother, I caught you!" Through these role-playing games, Predator and Prey, Who Am I, and Catching the Horse, kids better understand animals, learn ecology, and improve judgment, imagination, and reflexes. The third type I call territory activities. Finding a personal spot in nature to bond with. This builds self-awareness and motivates caring for all nature. The game I recommend is Finding Your Own Special Place, suitable for children over 10. Before starting, choose a location rich in plants and animals. Since kids have different preferences, this helps each find their own special spot. Before the game, you need to set suitable activity times for each group and bring out the prepared exploration guides. Exploration guides can be maps to a territory or small tasks like writing down sounds heard along the way. Then have group members find their own territory according to the guide's requirements within the set time and do corresponding activities. Kids don't need to do every activity. They can choose what interests them most or what's most meaningful for their own little world. They can invite a guest to visit their little world and gather in pairs at the set time to share what they've seen and heard, exchanging new discoveries. And through territory exploration activities, children can participate in designing the activities and all aspects of exploration and communication. This not only cultivates strong self-awareness, improves their organizational and participation skills, but also enhances their communication and sharing awareness. All right. Have you grasped the sensory activities, role playing activities, and territory exploration activities mentioned above? Lastly, I want to specially introduce an activity called Walking Quietly Together, according to Joseph Cornell. It seems that among all activities, walking quietly together is the most effective one. Activity. Before the activity, note, don't wear nylon shoes and clothes because they make unnatural sounds. Walk quietly in the woods. You'll find that animals can sense human hearts. If they feel a peaceful atmosphere, they won't run away, they won't be startled by your approach. Just step back a few steps, look back, hmm, satisfying their curiosity. Some parents might say that forests full of small animals are only abroad. We don't have such environments here. Actually, not. Now, many city squares have pigeons. Some zoos have areas specifically for free ranging small peacocks. Have you noticed? When we pass by them quietly with love, they won't flee hastily, but will make eye contact and gaze at you. At this moment, we'll sigh with emotion. Feeling an intimate connection with animals is truly wonderful. Walking quietly together, setting aside the constraints of language and civilization. When a person can live in harmony with nature, their relationships with others also become more harmonious. In the silent conversation with nature, we discover that what we're studying isn't just nature, but life itself. Sparking joyful insights and experiences through nature is exactly what sharing nature with children wants to convey. The fun nature brings us is endless, with more mysteries waiting to be uncovered. If more parents and educators could recognize that children's connection with nature isn't just play, but an essential part of growth, then let's quickly guide kids to play outdoors. Discover nature's joys and let it spark life's purest happiness. All right, sharing nature with children. That wraps up our interpretation of this book. Keynotes are below the audio. See you tomorrow.